Okay, what we studied this morning is objective, subjective, objective, subjective, and we are to reject objective existence. To say that everything is subjectively real, but nothing exists objectively. This is what we have to learn. And meanwhile, keep in mind that once you, I don't know, I won't say even call it a glimpse. Once you get some idea that objectively things don't exist, when you get some idea of this, just try to experiment it on yourself when you become a little tense, uptight, or a little angry, sad, and mentally feel a little gloomy, down. Just think of this, how that I do not exist objectively. I'm like a dream. And of course, to reach to that level, we have to study. So we're going to study this. Once you study this, you get some idea how to feel this, that I don't exist objectively. I'm like a dream. When you get some idea of this, then see how that can be correlated with you manage your emotions. See how, what's the effect of this, reflection on your mental agitation. Mental agitation subsides. In some cases, it can be drastic, sudden. You can see in some cases, you may not feel it right there and then, but then gradually you see that, say, the moment you are a little mentally undisturbed, you meditate on this, and subtly you could feel a change that you may not be able to identify that. And then the indication that there's some change happening there within you is that next time you say, it's time for you to think of practicing. You feel like meditating on this. You feel like, which means that earlier there is some impact in your mind of the benefit. Then you do it gradually. This experience will be deeper, more and more obvious in your mind. Then you feel that, okay, yes, now this is really is a benefit there. That when you feel a little mental disturbance, just sit there, meditate, and see how it affects your mind. So that should be there are two things to keep in mind. One is that think of that as a cumulative effect. Cumulative effect, not like, okay, 2 + 3 = 5, full stop. It's not like this. It's a cumulative effect. Like today you put a drop, the next day the next drop. So gradually the water builds up. This is one. Number two, the quality of that experience. It's not just the vastness of the experience, the quality of the experience also has to be thought of. The quality will be given to us by extensive studies. You have to engage in extensive studies. Study, don't feel complacent with whatever little that you've learned from here. It's just nothing. It's just like showing you a picture of a picture. What is picture of a pizza? Right? So I show a picture of a pizza, right? Wow, that's pizza. It's not pizza. You're getting it? So many people, they get confused between the picture of the pizza and the pizza. You're getting it? So in 1 week, I cannot give you the pizza. I can at the most give you a picture of a pizza. You're getting it? And the Buddha remained silent for 49 days. Right? And day one, we jumped into emptiness. You're getting it? So we can't expect. There's no greater teacher than the Buddha. If the Buddha remained silent for 49 days, for us to think of getting emptiness within 1 week is just a source of laughter. So the point is that, but this is so precious. Number one, the fact that, in fact, I was so confused how all these young people, they came to know about 60 verses. What impression they might have got in their mind. 60 verses, right? What impression they got. It is not a fancy title. There's 60 verses. And better would be 100 verses, even more verses. Right? But what are you attracted? What attracted these young boys and girls? So that is something which is so precious, that you are connected with this teaching. But always be very realistic. When you're connected, no doubt, connected. But the next thing is how to build up on this. Then number two is how to create a quality to this. Two things. Building up, look for the cumulative effect. And then number two, build up the quality of what are you doing. Two things. So for the quality, what we need to remember is that the emptiness, which seems so simple, it's not simple, but it's not difficult also. But oftentimes in my talks, teachings, when I said emptiness is not difficult, because many of the people who come to these classes, they get the impression from other people that emptiness is very difficult, right? Emptiness is difficult. And then they say, if I also say emptiness is difficult, then people will say, okay, it's not for me. So the reality is that if you're consistent and if you do the right, put your efforts in proper direction, you'll get emptiness. So keeping these two in mind, I tell people that emptiness is not difficult. Okay, this in mind, emptiness, selflessness, in a loose sense, these two are the same. As what the Buddha taught, everything is of the nature of emptiness, selflessness, as the third seal. From the four seals, the third one, everything is of the nature of emptiness, selflessness. So there we see emptiness, selflessness, these two, in a loose sense, to be seen as synonymous. So having said this, it seems that there's something hidden there. There's something deeper there. Yes, there are many deeper levels. So, 5 levels of emptiness, of selflessness. Note it down if you are not aware of this. 5 levels of selflessness. Number 1, selflessness of permanent, unitary, independent self. Selflessness of permanent, unitary, independent self. Number 2, selflessness of autonomous, substantial reality. Number 1, selflessness of permanent, unitary, independent self. Number 2, selflessness of autonomous, substantial reality. And number 3, selflessness of externality. Number 3, selflessness of externality. Number 2, selflessness of autonomous, substantial reality. Number 3, selflessness of externality. Externality. Number 4, the selflessness of true existence. Selflessness of true existence while not rejecting objective / inherent / intrinsic existence. Number 4, selflessness of true existence while not rejecting objective / inherent / intrinsic existence. Let me repeat. Number 1, the selflessness of permanent, unitary, independent self. Number 1, selflessness of permanent, unitary, independent self. Number 2, selflessness of autonomous, substantial reality. Number 3, selflessness of externality. Number 4, selflessness of true existence while not rejecting objective / inherent / intrinsic reality. Then finally, number 5, selflessness of objective existence. Objective / inherent / intrinsic reality or intrinsic existence. Number 5, selflessness of objective / inherent / intrinsic existence. Okay, these are the 5 levels, and of course we don't have time to go through all these. Why I'm sharing with these 5 levels of selflessness or levels of emptiness to you is to tell you that If you really want to get away from the agitation, disturbance of your mind, mental stress, anxiety, sadness in your life, then we have to know emptiness. If we don't know emptiness, there's no way. There's no way we can get rid of these problems. To know emptiness, you have to get the not just the picture of the pizza. You have to get the real pizza. So to really get there, we need to understand these 5 levels. If you don't understand the 5 levels, you cannot really get the core of what emptiness is. So, and to learn this, yes, of course, we have to study the courses more systematically. And there are many courses nowadays given. In many places, there are courses given there. So, the point is that you can decide. You can decide, but things that you have to do something. Do our more systematic studies. Okay. And this is one thing. So this morning, what did we learn? What is the takeaway from this morning's class? Anyone quick? Jimela? Yes? Jimela, objective existence, takeaway? Nothing is subjectively? Anyone? Quick? Yes.
The realization of the subject, the emptiness of the objective existence and reduce the emotional effect of.
Very precise. Thank you. Say, what did Ishita? Ipshita. So what Ipshita said is that takeaway is we need to realize the emptiness of objective existence, and this will guarantee that our emotions will be under control. Fears will be removed, and your joys will be multiplied. Right? How many want that? How many get away? How many want to get rid of the disturbance, mental disturbance, agitation, fear, and so forth? Reasons. Very complicated, right? So I met with many people who said, I want to leave everything, hold my family, and go to Himalaya, right? I met many of these people, right? Is anybody like this? Or first, before I go to Himalaya, let me go to Deer Park first. And then the next Himalaya, is there anybody? Okay. So, even in Himalaya, when you go to Himalaya, right, say, self-grasping ignorance insight will come with you. You know, right? It'll not stay in the town. It'll come with you. So what attracts the miseries is not external. It's not the town. It's not the city. Right? It is your own thinking. So we have to fix the thinking. This will help us to be freed from suffering. We have to fix the thinking. Okay, and for how to fix the thinking? On 3 levels. What are they? Hey, to fix the problem, we have to fix the thought processes on 3 levels. Very good, very good, very good. Okay, wisdom derived through learning, wisdom derived through reflection, wisdom derived through meditation. You're getting it? So when I give you full, you also give me full. Don't give me half. I gave you wisdom derived through learning. I did not just give you learning. And you give me, but at least Jimala is giving me half, right? Some others, they don't even give me anything. So thank you, Jimala. So next time full. Okay, good. Okay, what did the wisdom, to get this wisdom, how many levels are there? 5. Okay. Okay. How many stages are there? Learning, wisdom derived through learning. Jimala, wisdom derived through learning. Very good. Immediate transformation. Look. Immediate transformation. This is amazing. Thank you, Jimala. Thank you. Thank you. Very good. Okay. So now we see that this is how we have to proceed. And How many of you are really fed up with the complications of life? Life is so beautiful, but the unnecessary complications are happening. Right? Life is beautiful, but unnecessary complications are happening. How many don't want to have these complications of life? Raise hands. Okay, how many of you are serious with this? Raise hands. Or if you are serious, you have to learn how to see emptiness. You get it? And this emptiness, as I said earlier, what will really bring about transformation is the wisdom drawn through meditation. This will really bring about transformation. And what will to reach there, wisdom drawn through meditation, what is required? Wisdom drawn through reflection. And for that, what is required? Wisdom drawn through learning. Learning means extensive, authentic information. You must get the extensive and authentic information. Not that, there's a book on emptiness. So he said the emptiness is very important. There's a book on emptiness. You read it, no, this does not work like this. Even many of the books are hopeless. You're getting it? Many of the books on emptiness, in fact, the author doesn't know what emptiness is. Right? Be very careful. Authentic, this word. Authentic sources. If you want to get the picture of the pizza, then you read any book. If you want to read real pizza, go to the Italian restaurant. Proper. Is there any Italian? Yes. Go to the proper Italian restaurant. Then you will get the real pizza, right? Okay. So the point is that what we learned this morning is that, okay, if I really want to get away from the misery, stress, anxiety, mental disturbance, and so forth, then this is a way, the emptiness of objective existence. Just meditate on this. First you have to get something of this. Without getting it, just say, nothing exists. This is not emptiness, this is nihilism. But you get it properly and then try to sit in this and then see how the mind responds. And as you become better in this experience, then the response within the mind where the emotions subside, disturbing emotions subside, will become more and more prominent. And then at times, if you're fortunate, you may experience very profound experiences which you never experienced before. Very profound experiences. And that too, these can be like very reliable experiences. Very reliable, meaning that anytime you like to feel that, you meditate on this, it'll come. This is so precious. Okay. So for this, what terminology did we learn this morning? What terminologies did we learn this morning? What terminologies, the words which we learned this morning? Objective, subjective. You're getting it? Okay. In this connection, we must be as extensively learned as possible. So what we learned is subjective as opposed to objective. So one pair. Subjective as opposed to objective. We said everything is subjective, nothing exists objectively. One. Number two, conventional as opposed to ultimate. Okay, so we're going to learn a few of these pairs. Say, one is subjective as opposed to objective, conventional as opposed to ultimate, right? And the next that I have is dependent as opposed to independent. Dependent as opposed to independent. And the next one is deceptive as opposed to true existence. Okay, number one was that subjective as opposed to objective, then conventional as opposed to ultimate, then dependent as opposed to independent, then the deceptive as opposed to truly existent, and then the relative as opposed to absolute. Relative as opposed to absolute. We need to know the pairs. They're very beneficial for us because oftentimes we see, we read different books, even the authentic books, the translators, they use different translations, and not only different translations, that within the context of the same textbooks, we see that all these five vocabularies are used, five pairs are used. So what is the first one? Subjective as opposed to objective. Just somebody tell me, what do you mean by subjective? What do you mean by subjective? Anyone? Quick. What do you understand by subjective? Yes, Pinzola. Huh? The subjective referring to the person, from the person. Here? From the mind. Subject from the mind. From the observer. Very good, John. Opinionated, meaning? Okay, so opinionated. Oh, you good. So what we said is that, what we said? We said everything exists subjectively, nothing exists objectively. How many got it, Resents? If you got it, no need for the next class. Right? If you got it, there's no. So, yeah, this is the theorem that we learned, right? Now we have to establish it. If you got it, then what's the point in the next class, right? Okay, so we have to establish it. In other words, there was like 2003. How many years ago? 2003. Oh, 20 years. Time flew. And many of you are not born. Are usually not born, right? Oh, 20 years pass. Okay. I was in Cambridge 20 years ago. I was in Cambridge, in England. And I used to meet a lot of physicists. I used to meet a lot of in the first place, academics. And then among the academics, the physicist. And there was one physicist who was extremely bright. So what I'm sharing with you is, they say, as far as possible, don't follow blindly. Right? Don't follow blindly. Always have a questioning mind. It doesn't matter, you may get answer, you may not get answer. Don't worry. Questioning mind is so important to penetrate the reality. So there was one physicist. I'm sure he is alive today. Of course, at the most he must be in his 60s today. And he was extremely bright. And what he said was that in this world, only physics is education. Okay, how many are from education now? Raise hands. How many are from education? You're from education? Physics. This is what he said is, in this world, only physics is education. Right? So, how many are from education from his point of view? Okay, all of us are not. We are not. Okay, from his point of view, we are not, right? And I said, of course, how he talks is extremely extreme. This is his style. I said, why? He said, because only physics allows you to have a critical thinking. All others are imitation of the earlier teachers. Let me repeat it. Because only physics allows you to have a critical thinking. All others are imitation of the earlier teachers. Then I said, wait, listen to what the Buddha has to say. Then I quoted the Buddha, the bhikshus and the wise men. Just as the goldsmith tests the purity of the gold by cutting, rubbing and burning the gold, you should also examine my words and put them to practice, not simply because you respect me. And he remained silent for a few seconds. He said, oh, the Buddha must have been a great physicist. So the point is that let us learn how to be as objective meaning that not to follow blindly. This is what we have to learn. And we build a habit. This habit will take from this life to the next life, next life, next life. This is how we can expect the progress along the path. Gade, gade, para, samgade, bodhiswa. Okay, good. So they say we have to learn how things are all empty of objective reality. So subjective. Subjective as a condition, something coming from mind. And a mind or something coming from the person, more precisely the mind. What is next? Subjective as opposed to objective. What next? Conventional as opposed to ultimate. Okay. This is very important. Conventional as opposed to ultimate. That everything is conventional existent, nothing exists ultimately. You're getting it? Again, how? This next question. What's next? Dependent as opposed to independent. Nothing exists independently, everything exists dependently. Right? What's next? Deceptive as opposed to truly real, truly existent. Everything exists deceptively. Nothing exists as truly. You getting it? So this is quite a strong statement. Quite a big statement. Everything exists deceptively. Right? Quite scary also. And it's because of this that this concept of emptiness helps us to revolutionize our thinking in ways that what we see, what we experience is going to be revolutionized by this understanding. What we see is so real. What's the opposite of real? Easiest would be to say unreal. Right? Real, deceptive. Real as opposed to deceptive. Deceptive as opposed to truly existent or really existent. Okay, so everything is deceptively existent. The next, everything exists relatively. Nothing exists as absolute. So how? So that is something we need to explore. So before this, from what we read, the verse from the text which reads, homage to the great sage who taught dependent origination, the means by which are eliminated objective arising and objective disintegration. Right? So, what is the means which the great sage used to explain emptiness of ceasing and arising? What means did the Buddha use to explain? Hey. Raise hand, yes. Impermanent nature of phenomena. Anyone? Yeah. So right here, hey, you don't have to think of anything else. It says, homage to the great sage who taught dependent origination, the means by which are eliminated the objective arising and objective disintegration. You're getting it? So dependent origination, the concept of dependent origination is the means to take us to understand what emptiness is. Emptiness of arising and emptiness of disintegration. What is the means used by the Buddha? The means of dependent origination. Teaching on dependent origination is used by the Buddha to explain to us how nothing exists independently, how nothing exists as objectively. Okay, this is as simple as that. So you are trying to be very creative, right? It's right there, right? Okay. So for this, in a way, what we're trying to do is that we're jumping into the deep ocean of emptiness. In deep ocean, and how many of you can swim in the deep ocean, raise hands? How many of you can swim in the deep ocean? Pacific Ocean, can you? Can swim?
It's not deep, it's deep. I'm going to be on the surface.
You can swim and cross the Pacific Ocean? Huh? The purpose of swimming is for what? To drown. This is what I'm saying. So you should not be drowning, right? So in the Pacific, can you stay like this without drowning for 10 hours, 20 hours? For 3 hours? No, for 3 days? 3 days. 3 days. Forget it probably. Even on the land, you cannot survive for 3 days. You say, I'm hungry. You're getting it? Nobody will feed you in the ocean like this. Right? Nobody will feed you. You will feed, you'll drown. You're getting it? Shari Pemma. Okay. So the point is that the say dependent origination. This is the what we need to understand, and this understanding will take us to understand what the emptiness is. And emptiness is vast. The topic, it can be very deep, and if we fail to understand properly, it can create so much of fear. If you understand it properly, the fear will be dissolved. You getting it? If you don't understand properly, if you misunderstand, or if you get the wrong understanding of emptiness, it can take us to deep fear. If you understand properly, it will remove all the fears. This is so precious. Okay, so because of this, we need the correct understanding. For the correct understanding of emptiness, we have to understand dependent origination. If you don't understand this, then the emptiness cannot be understood. So for that, we are jumping into emptiness concept. For that, we need to know, we need to ask two questions. First of all, we need to pass the two questions. If you don't pass the two questions, there's no way by which you can understand emptiness. You getting it? Okay. Some people, particularly the people who study Western philosophy, is anybody studying Western philosophy? Those people who study Western philosophy, usually, not all, many of them, what they do is, Arya Nagarjuna, they would not say Arya Nagarjuna, they would say Nagarjuna. It's like he's their classmate. Right? Or Nagarjuna, what did you write? Right? Or then you read it, and you don't understand anything. And then what you say is that you read for just maybe 30 minutes. And you say Nagarjuna idealistic is what? The nihilist, right? Idealism, nihilism. This is too overly simplistic. You have not understood Arya Nagarjuna. You're getting it? I've seen many philosophers who said Nagarjuna is idealistic, the nihilism. This is too simplistic. This is not the reality. You have not understood Arya Nagarjuna's philosophy. So, if you really want to understand the Arya Nagarjuna's philosophy, you have to pass through two gates. The two gates are two questions. The first question, do things exist? This is the first question. Do things exist? If you say no, you fall into nihilism. You are not even close to Arya Nagarjuna. You're getting it? This is nihilism. You say no, right? Do things exist? If the answer is no, you fall into nihilism. This is not emptiness. Only if you say yes, of course, everything exists. Things exist. Then you pass the first question, you go to the second question. Second question is, do things exist objectively? Do things exist objectively? If the answer is yes, you fall into absolutism. If you say yes, you fall into absolutism. Again, this is not emptiness. You are into the extreme absolutism. Only when you say to the second question, no, nothing exists objectively, you have passed the second question. So you have passed the first two gates. You passed the two gates. Once you pass the two gates, then you are entitled to really understand emptiness. For that matter, what we need to know is that we have to know that emptiness is not nihilism. Emptiness means dependent origination, number one. Number two, dependent origination means the middle way, right? Let me repeat it. When you pass the first two questions, what are the two questions? And do things exist? What should be answer? Yes. If you say no, you fall into nihilism. This is not Arya Nagarjuna's philosophy. This is nihilism. And then if you say yes, things exist, then You go to the second question. What's the second question? Do things exist objectively? What should the answer? No. If you say yes, what's the problem? You fall into absolutism, the other side of the nihilism. Okay. So only when you give the two answers correctly, then you are entitled to speak about emptiness. Till that point, you are not entitled to speak about emptiness. You're prone to fall into nihilism or absolutism. So, now what is real emptiness? Real emptiness, as Arya Nagarjuna taught here, homage to the great sage who taught dependent origination. Emptiness should be understood in the context of dependent origination. Number one, emptiness means dependent origination. Number one. Number two, dependent origination means the middle way, right? If I tell you A equals B and B equals C, what is your conclusion? Therefore, A equals C. You getting it? So I'm telling you, emptiness equals dependent origination. And dependent origination equals the middle way. Therefore, emptiness equals the middle way. Middle way means not the extremes. You getting it? Okay. So first we have to establish them. What's the first one? Emptiness equals? So my job is to explain to you emptiness equals dependent origination. And the second one? How dependent origination equals the middle way. This is my job to explain these two. Once these two explain, then your job is to say that, therefore, emptiness is not nihilism, it is not absolutism, it is the middle way. Okay, what should I do? Hey, what should I do? Yes, Sharibama, tell me. Thank you. So my job, the first job is to explain how emptiness equals dependent origination. For this, we need to know 5 points. Emptiness equals dependent origination, 5 points. You getting it? Okay. And each of these points, if you're not happy, bring up your questions. You getting it? If you're not happy, bring up your questions. Meaning that if you are not convinced by any of these points, try your best to understand, try your best to be convinced. If you're not convinced, don't follow blindly. Okay, 5 points. 5 points for what? How emptiness equals dependent origin. Very good. Okay, the first one is emptiness. This is the obvious word that we are hearing. Emptiness. Number 2, emptiness is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. For example, if I ask you is there anybody from, any native English speakers? Presents. Native English speakers. Native English speakers. Omar, Kate. Your name? Mike. Okay, anyone else? Okay, over there. Okay, let's see. Mike. All right? Okay. What is who? Yeah. It's English, no? Yeah, what is who? Huh? Oh, okay. So look, listen, I'm not asking who's who. You getting it? I'm asking WHO. What is WHO? Huh? WHO. Hey, tell me, anyone else? World Health Organization. I'm not asking a person. I'm not asking who's who, right? I know that already. Right? I'm asking, what is the WHO? What does it mean? What is the full form of this? Is a short form of World Health Organization. When somebody asks who is who, right? What is who? Don't think that who is a person, right? Do not really underestimate the other person, right? He must be asking something deeper. You're getting it? Likewise, emptiness is not just emptiness, nothing. It is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. You're getting it? WHO is a short form of World Health Organization. Likewise, emptiness is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Okay, number 1, emptiness. Number 2, emptiness is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Number 2. Number 3. Emptiness of independent existence means nothing exists independently. Number 3. Nothing exists independently. Number 3. Number 4. Nothing exists independently means everything exists by dependence. Number 4. Everything exists by dependence. Number 4. Number 5. Everything exists by dependence means everything is dependently originated. Let me repeat it. Number 1, emptiness. Number 2, emptiness is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Number 2, emptiness is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Number 3, emptiness of independent existence means nothing exists independently. Number 4, nothing exists independently means everything exists by dependence. Number 4. Number 5. Therefore, everything exists by dependence means everything is dependently originated. So, with these 5 points, we understand that emptiness means dependent origination. What is next? How dependent origination equals the middle way. So for this, we need to know 2 points. How dependent origination equals middle way. For this, we need to know 2 points. Okay, number 1, this is dependent origination has 2 sides. Dependent and origination, the 2 sides. The first, dependent. What's the opposite of dependent? Independent. So when you say dependent, you reject independence. And independent existence, absolute existence, they mean the same. Independent existence and absolute existence, they mean the same. So when you say dependent, you are rejecting the independence. You are rejecting the extreme of absolutism. What was the other one? Origination. Other side is origination. When you say origination, means something comes into origination. Something comes into existence. What's the opposite of existence? Non-existence or nihilism. When you say origination, nihilism is rejected. Extreme of nihilism is rejected. Now, dependent, it rejects the extreme of absolutism. Origination, it rejects the extreme of nihilism. Bringing the 2 together, dependent origination, bringing the 2 together, rejects the 2 extremes. Rejecting the 2 extremes is following the middle way. So this is how dependent origination means the middle way. So now my job is done. Is your job. What's your job? Huh? So therefore, emptiness is the middle way. This is your job. Therefore, emptiness means the middle way. It is not nihilism. It is not absolutism. You're getting it? Emptiness is the middle way. It is not nihilism. This is what Arya Nagarjuna taught. Arya Nagarjuna taught in the text. So it is included here, where Arya Nagarjuna taught that which is dependently originated is said to be emptiness. That being dependently designated, this is a middle way. Right? Is there anybody who can help me track or trace where it is in this book? Anyone who can help me? So it is here in this book. Let me say this again. Whatever is dependently originated is said to be emptiness. That being dependently designated, this is the middle way. Dependent emptiness means dependent origination. It's not nothingness. And because it is the meaning of dependent origination, it's the meaning of middle way. Whatever is dependent originated is said to be emptiness. That being materially designated, this is the middle way. Anyone? Page 217. 217. Okay. 217. top. That which dependent originates is posited to be empty of independent existence. That being dependent designated, this is the middle way. Okay, this is what I compiled. That is the original source. Anyone who can try the original source? This is the original source. This is not the original source. This is the section which I compiled. Right now, there's the original source. Page number 61, 65. Okay, 61 and 65. No. Anyone can help me identify the original source? Anyone? 122. 311. Wow. Oh, yes. Okay, it's actually 122. 122, which is chapter 24 of Arya Nagarjuna's text, Mula Madhyakarika, page 122. Page 122. Verse number 18. Verse number 18, page number 122. This is the original source, the Arya Nagarjuna's text itself. Did you find it? Page 122, verse number 18. Whatever is dependent in reason, that is explained to be emptiness. That being dependently designated is itself the middle way. Are you good? Now the next, dependent origination is so important for us to understand what dependent origination is. If you understand emptiness in the context of dependent origination, there's no danger that we'll fall into nihilism. If you just try to measure emptiness, how I'm going to explain to you in a while or in the afternoon session, we can easily slip into nihilism. Whereas if you think of dependent origination, emptiness equals dependent origination equals the middle way, therefore emptiness equals middle way. There's no danger that we will slip into nihilism. Okay, so it's so important for us to reflect more on the dependent origination. And dependent origination, His Holiness the Dalai Lama teaches this on 3 levels or 2 levels. So let's work on 3 levels. Then the 2 levels are automatically understood. 3 levels of dependent origination. The first, dependent origination of the results dependence on causes. Dependent origination of the results dependence on causes. Dependent origination of the results dependence on causes. Number 2, dependent origination of the wholes dependence on parts. Whole, W-H-O-L-E, wholes dependence on parts. The parts. Number 3, dependent origination of dependence on mere mental designation. Dependent origination of dependence on mere mental designation. Okay. Let me explain each one of them here. If you look at this flower, let's say that this is a real flower. Say this flower is a result with respect to its causes and conditions. You agree? So this flower comes into existence by dependence on its previous causes and conditions. So when you understand this, you understand the first level of dependent origination of this flower. Number 2, that this flower exists but depends on its petals, the leaves, what is that? Inside? Stigma? Huh? Stamen? What else? Then the branch, the stalk. You depend. So this flower comes to existence but depends on these, the petals, the stamen, the leaves, the stalk, and so forth. So that is what? Dependent origination of the whole flowers, whole depends on its parts. These are different parts. Number 3, that, what is the third one? Dependent origination of dependence on mere mental designation. You're getting it? Okay. How many of you see this? What is this object? Huh? Huh? Yellow flower. Okay. So now has made sure amazing. So now someone like wants to give the answer which I'm actually waiting for. Not making complicated. Fake flower, duplicate flower. So he said yellow flower. Make it simple. Yellow flower, right? Okay. Do you agree with me? If you look at it through electron microscope, you're bound at first you will see the cells. Yes? And then you will see first before the cells, by the way, when you look at this, how does flower appear? As very tender, texture-wise beautiful, yes? Right? Okay, I'm not asking those people who dislike flowers. I'm asking the people who love flowers, right? The texture is amazing, color combination is amazing. But if you look at through electron microscope, the first thing you will see that it's not amazing. It's just like a crack clay, the clay mud, right? The dry mud, right? It cracks. You can see like this crack. What is that crack? Cell partitions, partition of the cells, right? You agree? Then you go further through further fine-tuning the electron microscope. You will start to see the cells. Discretely, you start to see the cells. And further fine-tuning that, you will see the nucleus, cytoplasm, the cell membrane. And you go into the nucleus, you see the chromosomes. You getting it? You further go into this, you will see the DNA molecules. Further go into this, you will see the atoms. You agree? Okay. Now imagine you're on that level where you are seeing just a pool of atoms. Okay. Tell me, what is this? Is it a pool of atoms or the flower? Yellow flower or a pool of atoms? Both. Both are correct. Some are saying it's a yellow flower, he's also correct. And some of you looking at through electron microscope, you see just a pool of atoms. That's also correct. Now my question to you, when I ask you, you first see this yellow flower, then you use electron microscope, use that pool of atoms. My question to you is that what happened to the flower which you saw before? Hey, tell me. Huh? So what I'm saying is that you are looking now. Earlier you looked at through electron microscope. Now earlier you look at through your naked eyes. You see this yellow flower, and then you switch to the electron microscope. Keep fine tuning this, and finally you end up seeing the millions of atoms, pool of atoms. Okay. Are you now at that point? Are you seeing the flower? You're not seeing the flower. Okay. What happened to the early flower that you saw? The flower that you saw earlier through your naked eyes, what happened to that? Where did it go? Okay, now, Ipshita, look at it again. Look at this flower again. All of you look at this flower again. And tell me, How does this flower appear to you? Now you know what is objective, what is subjective. How does this flower appear to you? As objective or as subjective? How does this flower appear to you? Objective or subjective? As object, it appears as objectively real, right? Okay. If it does exist objectively, okay, let me say, which we already did before. Say you are seeing me in the water from 1 kilometer away. You are seeing me in the water, and the Ajiji is telling you that what you are seeing may not be water, it can be mirage. We're not sure. How will you evaluate what you're seeing is mirage or what you're seeing is water? How will you evaluate that? Raise hands, anyone? Raise hands. The girl there? Okay. The girl before Ipshita? Yes. Yeah. How many agree with your name? Yeah. Money Deepa. How many agree with Money Deepa? To evaluate what you're seeing is whether it's the real water or the mirage, you have to go closer, right? Okay, what Money Deepa said is exactly what Arya Nagarjuna taught. Arya Nagarjuna taught in his text, The Precious Garland, where the Buddha, where Arya Nagarjuna taught, if the mirage were to be water, were not those close by the mirage see water. Let me repeat it. If the mirage were to be water, were not those close by the mirage see water. Okay, so now if she tell me, how does the flower appear to you? Objective, subjective? Objective. Now look, by extending the same reason which Mani said, which was earlier taught by the Buddha, no, Arya Nagarjuna, if this flower were to exist objectively, why don't I see this flower as I go close to this object? You agree? Can you extend the same reason applied to the mirage to the flower? Yes. So as I go closer to the flower, we can, which is closer, your naked eyes or the electron microscope? Electron microscope, perception is closer. So with the electron microscope, the flower dissolves. You don't see the flower. You getting it? So if the flower does exist objectively, minimum the electron microscope should be able to see that, but it's not seeing that, which indicates that the flower doesn't exist. Flower doesn't exist objectively or ultimately, right? Okay. So we see that the flower doesn't exist objectively. So where is that flower? Tell me. Or which you earlier saw. Where is that? Subjectively, you tell me. Okay, look at it again. Hey, look at it again. Right? How does this appear to you? Objectively, subjectively? Now tell me, where is this objectively appearing flower when you look at through electron microscope? When you go too close to the object, where is the flower which you earlier saw as objectively real? Where is it? Huh? Okay. So you discovered that what you earlier saw was not really from the object. From the object it's empty. Right, from the object is empty. But you saw something before. Where is it? It has appeared. No, wait a minute. Did it exist or not? Okay, look at it again. Where is this? Not an object. Where? In your mind. Are you sure? Okay, so lunge in your mind.
But when I go to the reality, when I see the microscope, my previous thing is actually defined, is subjective. I come to know that it was subjective.
Okay. So in a way, what Indrajit is saying is that I come to know that what I earlier saw was purely subjective. It's not really on the object. You agree with Indrajit ji? Good. In a way, when you look at it, how does the flower appear to, how does it appear to you? As objectively real. In a way, what he's saying is that how the flower appears to me is deceptive. You're getting it? It appears objectively real, but I discovered that it's not objectively real. Right? So therefore, this flower that appears objectively real, it is like a prank. It's like a prank, right? Ipshita, what is prank? No, what is prank? Huh? A practical joke, which means that, somebody appears as a ghost.
Making a fool out of it.
Yes, making a fool out of Ipshita. Right? Okay, so then you discover that it's not real. It's not real. So likewise, we see that what I'm seeing, the flower object real, this is deceptive. Okay, how many of you got it with hands? Oh, that's amazing. You got it. Now goosebumps come to your body? Huh? How many goosebumps came to your body? Wow, that's amazing. Goosebumps. Cold waves flow through your bodies. Huh? Anyone? No, don't worry. Okay. Cool waves. No, this is not my question. My question is, wow, it's amazing. It's all coming from my mind. Tickling sensation happens. Right? Okay, that's not that easy. Right? So at the moment, if you do get something, you are getting intellectually. That is more like, hey, Jimela, what are three wisdoms? What are the three wisdoms? Perfect, very good. So they say that you get something. Yes, it makes sense, but the goosebumps not coming to your body means it is on the level of the first wisdom. What's the first wisdom? Wisdom derived through learning. You're getting it? Goosebumps will come to you when you're closer to the wisdom derived through reflection. You're getting it? Goosebumps, ticking sensation, cold waves flowing through your body, and at times extremely profound triangle feeling coming in your book, some core of heart. All these things explained by the great teachers. They will come to us when we upgrade from the wisdom derived through learning to the wisdom derived through reflection. So first we have to have more extensive studies. Okay, we'll stop here.